Strange for letting us put this event together. I know it's something they've been wanting to do for a while now. You know, we do a great job, you know, during our 9/11 ceremony as a fire department, as we should, but we wanted to do something to honor our local history as well. And since this is one of the, if not the biggest fire event the city of Montgomery ever has faced, then we want to do something to honor this, and we're just thankful that you're here. So we've got a little something prepared here, so just bear with me. So on this date, February 7th, 1967, approximately 10:03 p.m., Montgomery Fire Rescue received a call reporting a fire at 7 Clayton Street on the 11th floor of what was then Dale's Penthouse restaurant. Many of you standing here today are very familiar with this event and may even still feel the effects from it. We're grateful that each of you decided to join us this morning, as we not only remember those that we lost that fateful night, but we honor the brave acts of the firefighters and civilians who answered the call and were able to prevent a further loss of life and property. You know, as I was reading through the fire report and through the gathered witness statements of this event, it didn't take long at all to develop a sense of solemn reverence and for the loss that so many incurred. It was heartbreaking. 25 lives were claimed that night, and each of those 25 lives were our family members, they were friends, and they were co-workers that are still missed even after all this time. But we as Montgomery Fire Rescue, we know that some of the members of the family are here to represent them, and I thank you that you're here. We'd like to ask you all to join us in a moment of silence in remembrance of those 25 lives that we lost. Thank you. Let me also mention that those 25 lives that night were not lost in vain. As Chief had mentioned, the investigation into this event went on to affect the revision of fire codes not only locally but nationally. Improvements were made in building egress, fire-rated doors and assemblies, and the furnishing and contents allowed within certain occupancies. These improvements have helped to save countless lives across the country and are part of an ongoing effort of reviewing and modifying fire code to meet the needs of today's public as well as the construction industry. We also wanted to honor those who responded that night. I believe we have a few firefighters here that actually answered this call. Thank you so much for coming. I really appreciate it. If you're able, we'd like at this time, could you please stand and be recognized? Thank you. Also, I'm not wanting to get into the limelight here, but we also have Mr. Jesse Williams here, and I would be way out of line if I didn't mention him. Mr. Williams was a cook at, I guess, a big round of applause. Mr. Williams was a cook in the restaurant at the time, and as I read all the witness reports, this man was responsible for helping literally dozens of people get in the elevator and brought them down. He went back up to get more. Knowing that the place was on fire, he still went back up to get more. And you know, as our job as firefighters, we're prepared and ready to do that. But this man took it upon himself and had the heart of service to go do that. And I really want him, I'm just so thankful that he showed up today, and we're glad that he's here. You know, like I said, if you read that report of what happened that night, you'd think that you're reading the script from a Hollywood movie. From glass falling on the car, you know, 11 stories as the first unit arrived, to you know, an 11-story blaze, to a daring rescue, we're putting out the fire to clear a path through the fire so people could come back through and escape, to even some of the firefighters who were stranded on the 11th floor actually had to physically climb down the cables. They had to go out the emergency exit of the elevators and physically climb down 11 stories to save their own lives. It's an amazing story, and it would make a good Hollywood movie. All of that really did happen. But if you were to ask these gentlemen about it who were here, they would probably say that they were just doing their job. And you know, honestly, they were doing their job. They were doing the extraordinary job of being a firefighter, a job that men a job that men with the same grit, determination, and heart for service did before them, and that men and women with the same can-do work ethic and spirit are doing today. Montgomery Fire Rescue has a long, proud history of being an elite department in the fire service industry. From our ISO 1 rating to Combat Challenge World Champions, to setting the bar for professionalism and service. However, our most important achievement is the betterment of the lives of the citizens that we serve daily. Our promise to you who paved the way and to all citizens of Montgomery is to continue to strive for excellence as we find new methods and strategies to move Montgomery Fire Rescue forward and to train future firefighters so they're prepared to answer emergencies and provide the highest level of service to our communities and our city. Thank you. We do have a few of our dignitaries that are here today. I was hoping could say a few words. At this time, I would like to invite our Department of Public Safety Director, Murphy, up to say a few words if you'd like, sir.
50 years ago today, I was only 10 years old, but I am so honored to be in the presence of heroes who were fighting fires, responding to the public, and running toward the danger, as we see so often now with police and fire and first responders. Thank you so much for your service. Thank you for the building blocks that have made this department what it is and the standard set for us to continue to try to achieve. Thank you so very much.
Thank you, sir. Also, Mayor Strange is in attendance this morning. Let's say a few words, sir.
It wasn't lost on me as we begun this ceremony that the church bells rang out. I know there were 25 bells that were tolled in honor and memory of those souls that were lost that night. Fire service is extraordinary. Those ordinary individuals that are represented by the comrades here today did extraordinary things that particular night, saving many lives. And today, as it's been recounted, fire service standards and codes have been changed. And what I would want everyone within the sound of this voice would understand that they've changed for the good. Out of this horrific event comes some good in that we are saving lives from that day forward, going forward. When our fire inspectors come and talk about occupancies and talk about fire exits and various things, you ought to thank them. You ought to give them a hug because they're trying to protect your life and your safety. I read the various chronicles of that evening, and a gentleman named Frank Lyles is quoted as saying, as horrific as that evening was, it changed Montgomery for the better. I also got to read the account of Jesse Williams, who was a 22-year-old cook that night. Saw a video of him speaking about that incident. Jesse was one of the heroes that night as he led 26 people to safety. Not 26 people were killed or 27, but 26 lives were saved. Jesse, if you could come, I know you've already been recognized, but I would like to at least give you a small memento. If you could come forward, Jesse Williams. I would like to give you a small memento that honors those lives that you've saved and the lives that have been saved because of that horrific night. I thank you. I honor you. God bless you.
Still kind of heartbreaking. But I think for being.
These are the heroes. These are the heroes. The families that are here can live with this horrific memory. They're our heroes as well. So God bless each and every one, and thank the Montgomery Fire Department for all that they are doing and all will do to save lives in the future. Thanks, Jesse.
And I want to thank y'all for this, everybody. The fire department. Thank God. Thank y'all very much. Thank you.
All right. We have a little plaque. plaque that we put together that Mr. Kaiser, who owns the building now, is very well-to-do apartment building, but he's given us, yes, sir. Just a second.
I'd like to intervene just a second. Chief Bryant, would you come forward, please? Chief Bryant is a chief from the yesterdays that when I was a young firefighter that I came up under. And I want Chief Bryant to share some moments about some firefighters that actually work at night. Come on, Chief.
We're planning on this, but every month, first Saturday, retired firefighters, we get together and we have a meeting because we're losing a lot of guys. But today, for this reason only, I wasn't here, but my dad was. My uncle was the dispatcher that dispatched. Two people that are in this audience, and they're the last two surviving guys that slid the cables. And the one just walked up with Barney Gibbons. Would you please come up? Star Wars Smith. And I know that we weren't raised up in the snowflake generation. I'm not politically correct. Star Wars is the first black firefighter hired in Montgomery Fire Department. These two guys are the rest of our guys' heroes. Lieutenant E.O. Owens' son, Rhino, who I grew up with, he's here also, right here. But these two guys are the two heroes.
What I need to say, I'm glad to be here. Glad to be here. Okay.
I am retired Lieutenant Stalwart Smith, one of the survivors of a terrible, unforgettable experience that killed 25 people at the Dale Penthouse restaurant on February 7, 1967. Included among the deceased were Lieutenant E.O. Owens, Lieutenant J.T. DeVee, and firefighter Jan Ferguson. I can vividly remember that horrible evening when all 6 of us, including Lieutenant E.O. Owens, Lieutenant J.T. DeVee, and firefighter Jan Ferguson, B.A. Gibbons, F.L. Lott, and me, entered the elevator on the ground floor. We had pushed the bottom of the elevator to stop for the floor to below the fire. However, the elevator passed that floor and stopped on the fire floor. That was a great mistake. When the door opened, the smoke and heat were unbearable. That's it. That's all you want to say?
Thank you so much for sharing that. Also, I'm understanding that Ms. Lincoln is here this morning. Ms. Lincoln was one of the ones that actually, some of the people in the restaurant, in order to survive, had broke some of the windows and crawled out onto a ledge on the 11th floor and made their way around to shield themselves from the fire. And Ms. Lincoln's still here with us today, and her son has brought her this morning, and I'd just like to recognize her. She was actually one of the ones that was on the ledge, bless her heart, and we're so thankful that she's still here with us. We just wanted to honor you and thank you so much for being here with us. All right, well, we've got a little plaque together. Even the plaque for this event has a special connection. Charlie's Trophies over on Dexter Avenue put this together for us, and the family is the Brasington family that has Charlie's Trophies. Her father was one of the firefighters who responded to this fire. So they helped put this together. I believe after this fire, he ended up moving over to the police department and ended up retiring from the police department, but we were talking about that as we were discussing the plaque. This is going to inside the building. There we go. All right, I'm just going to read this real quick since we're losing the microphone. This is from the City of Montgomery Fire Rescue Department. Oh, before I read this, also, I do want to thank Martha Earnhardt, who's one of our city's public information officers, for helping put the wording together. She did an outstanding job and a very wonderful resource, and thankful to have her experience. And I just really thankful for her help with this as well. It says, in recognition of this Montgomery site's seminal role in fire safety advancements throughout our country, the City of Montgomery Fire Rescue Department hereby presents this plaque in honor of those lives extinguished in the Dale's Penthouse restaurant fire on this site, February 7, 1967. This tragedy, which claimed 25 victims, helped identify structural and training improvements that have advanced safety and saved countless lives nationwide. Montgomery Fire Rescue also honors in perpetuity the brave firefighters who placed themselves in harm's way in responding to the Dale's Penthouse fire. Armed with a fervent desire to serve and protect their fellow citizens, these first responders fought heroically to safeguard lives and property. Their skills, sacrifice, and dedication to duty engender the enduring appreciation of a grateful city. So this inside the building, I just want to thank all of you for being here. And honestly, that's pretty much what we have. Again, I just want to thank everyone for coming out. I know their schedules are busy in this Tuesday morning, but thankfully the rain has held off, and we're just very grateful that all of you are able to attend. You're welcome to hang around and meet some of the people that you may have never got to meet, some of the families that were involved. We'll take a few pictures if you'd like. And other than that, thank you for coming and have a blessed day.